am Mr. Moresi, and I'm going to read a book titled Pete the Cat and the Bedtime Blues. It's written by Kimberly and James Dean. When I read it, I want you to think about what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story, because Mrs. Moresi might have you do something with that. A lot of cool pictures of Pete. Pete the Cat and the Bedtime Blues. Can you see me okay? Pete and the gang had a great day. They had been at the beach. Surf and sun and tons of fun. But when the sun went down, they didn't want the fun to end. Pete had an idea. Hey, how about a sleepover? More time for tons of fun. Groovy. Pete's place. Let's go. The party was far out, but they knew they couldn't stay up all night. The gang decided it was time to say goodnight. Some pizza looks pretty good. How can you tell that they're a little tired? On went the pajamas and out went the light. Good night, Gus. Good night, alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. Pete was just about to catch some Z's when clap, clap, clap. Who did that? Pete asked. It was me, said Grumpy Toad. I don't want to go to bed. I want to clap instead. Pete covered his head. This cool cat needs to go to bed. Good night, Gus. Good night, alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. Time to sleep. Pete tried again to catch some Z's when rat-a-tat-tat. Who did that? Pete asked. It was me, said Gus the platypus. I don't want to go to bed. I want to jam instead. Pete covered his head. This cool cat needs to go to bed. Time to sleep. What do you guys think is going to happen next? Good night, Gus. Good night, alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. Pete closed his eyes to catch some Z's when he heard... Munch, munch, munch. Pete had a hunch. It was alligator. He was always up for eating. What could Pete do? That's like me in the middle of the night. All the clapping, rat-a-tat-tatting, and munching was giving him the bedtime blues. Pete had a groovy idea. Try to see if you could figure out what groovy idea Pete has. He got out his favorite bedtime story and started to read. First to himself, and then to the gang. How many of you thought he'd read a story to make him fall asleep? Pete noticed it was finally quiet. No more clapping, no more rat-a-tat-tatting, and no more munching. He's reading Pete the Cat and the 10 Little Monsters. That's the book he was reading. They all settled down No one made a sound. Pete yawned and turned off the light. Good night, sleep tight. Time to catch some Z's. Do you guys know what catching some Z's means? It means sleep. Tomorrow was another day for surfing, sun, and tons of fun. Is that all? They're all dreaming about the fun day they're gonna have the next day. And here's some more Pete's. All right, that was Pete the Cat and the Bedtime Blues by Kimberly and James Dean. Hope you enjoyed it.